Insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome to the Business Buzz. It's time for another segment of the Business Buzz here on Radio Cayman. The focus on this segment will be the Dr. Bill Hurdley Science Fair 2023, which will be done by Rotary Central. So it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Rotarian Ms. Kara Ramlakan, who's the chairperson of Rotary Central, Rotary Central Science Fair. So Ms. Kara Ramlakan, she's the chairperson of Rotary Central Science Fair. Also, no stranger to Radio Cayman, no stranger to the Cayman audience, Mr. Carl Brown, who is jack of all trades with Rotary Central, but his official position is Vice President, too, of Rotary Central. Folks, good morning. Welcome to the Business Buzz.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to our listening audience.
Okay. I know, Mr. Brown, before we get on to the topic, you want to make a few opening comments as well and acknowledge some persons.
Good morning to our community. We'd like to really thank you for being so supportive of our projects and events. Specifically, the last major event we had, which was at the Botanical Park during Easter. That was a remarkable success, primarily because you bought in. We're so thankful that you came to Easter Storytime. We'd also like to, I'm speaking on behalf of our president and our board of directors and our membership, Rotary Central, our president Jennifer Leach Tippett, in acknowledging the passing of Frank Connolly, who was one of our 26 charter members. Frank was a Rotarian. He was a director. He's from East End. He was a mariner. He was a turtler. And at one time, he was significant in our tourism scene over many years. In fact, he served in tourism for over 50 years after being a mariner for 25.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. Yes.
But today we have...
will be missed.
Yes,
certainly.
Will be missed. I am so happy to welcome Rotarian Kara, who is our new chairperson for Rotary Central Science Fair Committee, the Bill Rudy Science Fair. Bill Rudy was a part of our membership, and in 2008, under the leadership of our past president, Neville Smith, we had our science fair, which started in 2008 under President Neville Smith, and Bill Rudy was part of the instrumentation of that. Bill Rudy was a scientist, he was a physician, he was an artisan, and he was an astronomer, and he was a member of our Rotary Club before he passed away. The science fair has been named in his name because of his significant contribution, and we keep him in memoriam. However, we have our science fair, which is going to be on Saturday the 22nd, and we have Kara, who is going to be telling us a lovely story about who is going to be involved and what we're going to be doing during those exciting moments during that day.
Excellent. Go right ahead, Kara.
Good morning to everyone listening. Yes, Rotary Annual Science Fair. For the past 2 years, we didn't have it due to COVID. Mm-hmm. So this year we are back, and we're encouraging everyone to join us. Surprisingly, we have 10 schools so far signed up. We have students coming in from Creek Primary, Cayman Brack also. They are sending some of their students to participate. We have homeschoolers participating. We, as I said, some of the newer schools also, like Cleverfish, Footsteps, we have them also participating. We have the public schools also participating. So we have a lot of students. As of this morning, we actually have 29 projects registered with 42 kids participating, because some of the projects, group projects.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be a very exciting day. We have our different categories that the kids can enter into, which include food and health, life sciences, physics, chemistry, and this year we are bringing in robotics as part of a new category, because we know there's a lot of kids and interest in that right now. And then earth science. We actually, I'm looking forward to see the earth sciences project, because a lot of them relate to Cayman. Yes.
We are going to be having and hosting this at the ARC Recreation Center at Camana Bay. It will start and open to the public at 8:30 in the morning, and it promises to be a very lively, eventful day of the children explaining their experiments, explaining their adventures in science, and proposing their hypotheses. They will be judged. It is a competition along with being an exhibition. It will enable us to see how remarkable these youngsters, primarily in the primary school age, who are going to be telling us what they've learned, telling us where they're going to go, and giving us an insight into what the future holds, not only for the world, but for our Cayman Islands. In the past, we have had youngsters who have emerged from this occasion, along with the fact that they, this was a path that they pursued at school. They lit a fire, and they are now maritime scientists. They are now engineers. They are now part of our medical arts community as doctors and physicians, and they've fulfilled their dreams, and this was part of lighting that fire forward. So it's a very important part of our annual agenda that we host.
So let's talk about some of the expectations as a participant and as an observer who's just there to see what the fair is all about. Tell us some of the things that we can expect.
Okay, as a participant, it gives the students who normally don't have the shine light on them to come out. This is their sporting event. This is their athletic. This is their field. What I like to say is that students who have a thought and try to figure it out, this is where they come and they show us, oh, you know what, I was playing and something got broken and I didn't have glue, but I had to come up with something else to fix it, and I think I should share this with everybody because I didn't have to go to the store and get anything to fix it. So this is why we encourage all students to have your thoughts. Try and figure out how to make something work and bring it to the science fair. Show it among your peers. Show it to members of society who you think may not pay attention to you. They actually come in there with that expectation, also the observers, to see, because they might even get an idea from the youngsters' projects. I have 2 science teachers that actually told me personally that the science fair is one of their favorite days in Cayman because they actually set aside time to come and visit with the students of the Cayman Islands, because it's all the students participate, right? Not just their school, and chat with them and see where their vision goes. It's such a fun time. The students also, they get to see peers who share their similar interests. So they may not have that where they are right now, but this is where friendships happen, connections are made, and then who knows, they could work on something together. It teaches teamwork, cooperation, stuff like that. This year at the science fair, we actually have some spot prizes also. So while some of the participants may not place first, second, or third, they are encouraged to come and show, because they are really nice spot prizes that they would be getting. So
And there will still be a winner.
there'll still be a winner. I
Yes,
mean, just to enter
Just
the
being
science
there,
fair is, you are a winner, because it takes a lot of confidence to come there and set up your project. It teaches so much holistically, just getting ready mentally, physically for the science fair. So you are a winner no matter what. Just submitting your registration on our website.
There is still time for for submissions to be made.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
still time. And I know that some of the public schools had their own in-house science fairs, and I would like to encourage students who participated in that also to register. There's still time this week.
How can they register?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
All of the contact details.
You could go to the website, rotarysciencefair.ky. There's a link. There's also a link on Rotary Central,
on our
our own.
I think on our Facebook page.
Yes,
and
on
also-
our
yeah,
Facebook,
yes.
Rotary Central. But the link is very straightforward. And your teachers, the science teachers, are willing to help also. You can get help in doing it, from your science teachers, from the internet, from your parents and stuff like that. So we just encourage every child, even if you think your project, your personal feelings might be that, oh, it may not be as good as the others. You don't know. You really don't know.
Yes, yes. Because
Until you
the
try.
yes, and then the judges will decide as well. Is there a particular theme for this fair?
Sustainability. So ways we could help Cayman become more sustainable, and just basically dealing with some of the problems we are facing now.
Water, air quality,
Yes.
maritime life, biological solutions. It's, as you asked, and as Cara was explaining, the students are very excited. So they get past the anxiety of being in a public place with work that they have done. And after the first minute, they get so animated in explanation that it is remarkable to see them, and also to see their parents beaming with pride and their teachers beaming with pride as to what their tutors and their students and their children are accomplishing. And by the end of the day, they've created a community, as Rotarian Cara has said, where they can consult with each other.
Yeah, network.
And they network. And they work on interesting solutions. There was an exhibit that was remarkable one year. This youngster brought plants that he knew that would be very helpful to ward off green iguanas from your territory. I've never forgotten that one. And then hearing an 8-year-old talk about differences in diet in the Caribbean and overseas, and how that affects the body, and spoke with such serious depth. Wow, the future is secure, and we know that we have youngsters who are going to be movers and shakers in the world of science and engineering not too long from now.
Great, great. So, folks, we're going to take our first commercial break. I want to remind you that we're talking about the Rotary Central Science Fair, which will take place on Saturday, April the 22nd. It starts at 8:30 a.m. at the Arc Recreation Center at Camana Bay. The registration is still open, and we will give you further details in terms of the website and how you can go on there and register. You've heard before, all of our major educational institutions will be participating, as well as homeschooling as also. That is extremely interesting.
We'd just like to let you know about our sponsors, who have been remarkable in being the bulwark to enable us to continue this. There is Precision Industries, there is Foster's, there's CUC, there is the Water Authority, and I proudly wear my shirt today that has both Rotary and the Water Authority because they've been involved in a lot of our scholastic activities over time. And also there is DART.
Okay, so we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Mr. Carl Brown and Miss Cara Ramlakan.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Lawrence Edwin Farrington, 1908 through 1981. Eddie Farrington started his seafaring career on a turtling vessel at the young age of 12. He went on to sail on schooners, serving as cook, sailor, and mate before sailing on steamships. He joined the Merchant Marine in 1926. In 1940, during World War II, while traveling on the SS Stanport carrying supplies from New York to England, the crew was captured by Germans, who then torpedoed their ship. They were fortunate in that the norm was to torpedo the ship with the crew aboard. Eddie spent 4 years in a concentration camp in Germany along with 6 other Caymanians, and there he learned the trade of shoemaking. Upon his return to Cayman, he employed his new skills in making and repairing shoes during breaks between trips to sea, and he taught quite a few young men, including his son, the trade. He also contributed his skills to the community by repairing footballs and cricket balls free of charge. He retired from sea in 1975.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Every boy, every girl, every mom, every dad, every student, every teacher, the annual Rotary Central Dr. Bill Rudy Science Fair is back. Saturday, April 22nd at the Arc Recreation Center, Camana Bay. A universe of science, innovation, invention, experimentation, botany, medicine, robotics, engineering, and more. So much imagination, so much science. Your children, our children, the next Nikola Tesla, the next Albert Einstein, the next Stephen Jobs, the next George Washington Carver. The 16th Annual Rotary Central Science Fair, Saturday, April 22nd at the Arc Recreation Center, Camana Bay. Proudly sponsored by CUC, the Water Authority, Precision Industries, Foster's, DART. This event is free to the public. Rotary, all you imagine.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. My name is Orrett Connor and I'm filling in for Miss Anita Khan this morning. So we're talking about the Rotary Central Science Fair. That conversation is taking place with Rotarian and chairperson of the Rotary Central Science Fair, Miss Cara Ramlakan. Also in the studio with us, jack of all trades, Mr. Carl Brown, who's also vice president too of Rotary Central. We're going to remind you about the fair itself, but we still have additional details that we want to share with you about this particular fair. Folks, go right ahead.
So what we'd like for you to do, our listening audience, to bring out your daughters and your sons, bring your babies, please bring your entire family, because every time your youngsters engage with something like the science fair, they go home with ideas that enable them toward fulfillment in very short order. Many youngsters have arrived at what they would like to do, having seen some of the activities at our science fair. So we'd like for you to please come and make sure that you take advantage of this. I'd like to make reference to the fact that the Cayman Islands has been accorded World Heritage status, Little Cayman, through the UNESCO program. That has been affirmed this week, and in part because of the activities of the CCMI, which have been remarkable in data gathering and their involvement. CCMI has been involved with Rotary and also has been involved with our Rotary Science Fair, and on many occasions have been lecturers, and also we have fielded scholarship activity with them. We have been proud to be part of enabling CCI to achieve their objectives. And by association, we are proud that we are part of the reason why we're recognized as a World Heritage Site via the UNESCO. We'd also like to highlight the fact that we're going to have a remarkable exhibit by 345 Robotics. They're going to be doing a demonstration that is going to really capture the attention of our attending audience, our youngsters. So please bring your children out. They may be the next great thing in robotics in the world. We have realized that the Cayman Islands is a petri dish of success. We think beyond other people's expectations, and we are world record holders. We have a history of doing things beyond people's belief, and we know that science fair is a basis for a lot of the future and what it holds in the world.
We're always punching above our weight.
We're always punching above our weight.
Yes.
So, Cara, you could tell us a little more about what the day is going to be like.
Okay, so we do invite all participants to come as early as 7:30 to start and set up your fair, your presentations, just to make sure we have everything running, with regards if you need electrical outlets, if you need, just so we could make sure that your project can be presented the way that you would want it to. So we do encourage early setup, that. Then during the day, you don't need to worry, I'm there, I'm going to get hungry, I'm going to get tired. We have you covered for that. All our participants will be getting lunch and light refreshments to take them out. So they do have that boost of energy to continue to show what it is they came out there for. As I said, there will be time for interaction, networking. We're really glad we have this 345 Robotics coming to display to help encourage children who may not have had the chance to get hands-on experience with it. Also, and then maybe at 2 o'clock you take a rest while we tally up the judges' points and stuff like that, and then we inform you, whether you have placed in a category or not, and then you come back with your family to celebrate your success at our awards banquet.
That's at the same day?
Same day,
okay.
just later in the day.
Okay.
So you go home and you take a rest. You wait for us to let you know. And yes, we celebrate you and your family, because your family did help. We have other guest speakers and other interested personnel also would be invited to the banquet. Our sponsors are actually really caring. They look, when I contacted them this year, they were like, yes, we were waiting for it. Please keep us updated on everything, because they are continued sponsors, so they know the drill of when it comes, but they just get so much passion out of taking part in a different way, a more individual way. So they would want to come and celebrate you also. So we would have representatives from our sponsors there also. Yes.
I'd also like to really thank Rotary Cara, who has taken on a significant role in leading this. It is a lot of organizing, and it is, considering that we've not done it in 2 years because of COVID, Rotary Cara and her committee have been remarkable in their gathering all of the moving parts to bring it together to make it happen. It's a lot of meetings and a lot of logistic connections and a lot of connection with our schools to keep up with what they are doing, and also to engage the youngsters who are going to be participants. We'd also like to really thank the fact that Cara was able to attract our sister island, Creek.
Great.
Because Cayman Brac and Little Cayman are an indispensable part of our family, and our success story as the Cayman Islands has never been without Cayman Brac and Little Cayman's involvement in every way.
I would imagine that you've already started planning for next year's as well.
Yeah, we've started to think about the theme.
Yes, yeah.
We have to plan forward.
Time goes by so quickly.
Yes.
As well. We still have about 2 minutes left, so I want to give both of you an opportunity, for some closing comments and reminders about if people still want to register, how they go about doing that as well.
I want to encourage the kids, parents who listening to this morning, relatives, friends of who have children, please, I ask you, talk to your children about it over the next couple of days. School reopens on Monday. They could chat with their science teachers. They could chat with their principals, asking them how to move forward on this. We really encourage everybody. It's open to our youngest participant is 5 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
And some of them are most prolific and passionate about their
projects.
They're very definitive, and this, when we see that light and fire in their eyes, it encourages us to come next year to do the same thing.
And just by participating, that makes you a winner in itself.
You are a winner by being there.
Yes.
And you don't need to spend any kind of money to do these projects. These projects can be made with anything.
Yes.
Anything around the house. It doesn't need to be nothing new or shiny. So there's no excuse not to participate.
Precisely.
So it's going to be 8:30 for the public to come, of 7:30 for our youngsters to arrive and prepare to set up. It's going to be Saturday, the 22nd, and it is going to be an important event that's going to be held at the Arc Recreation Center at Camada Bay. There's ample parking. You have no barrier as a youngster participating to have your energy levels be sustained throughout the day, because we're going to provide for you. And we'd like to really thank our sponsors, which are Foster's, DART, Precision Industries, CUC, and the Water Authority, who have been remarkable in their support over the years. We'd also like to thank our listening public, who have been supportive of this significant and important part of our annual agenda as Rotary Central.
And our fellow Rotarians who are hard at work.
Because we do have a crew that helps us set up. Okay, we have had a crew that's been planning, but then we have to set up in the morning, and we start setting up from Friday night.
Okay.
And on Saturday morning, we are all ready and in place. So our judges are also going to be part of. We get judges from the community. We would like to really thank them for taking time out. And then we'll be doing a breakdown, which is to physically move tables to set up for a banquet in the evening to celebrate. So we've got Rotarians who are very busy hands throughout that entire day, but that day started from last week.
Okay, we want to wish you all the best, all the success, folks. That was Miss Kara Ramlakan,
yes,
and Mr. Carl Brown from Rotary Central. We're going to go to our 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have representatives from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service in the studio with us, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. The Business Buzz will be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Price Right is a minute after 8.
At Priced Right, spending less on everyday products is easy.
Spend less on tools and automotive products.
Good deals on groceries and meat.
Electronics, TVs, Bluetooth speakers, and more.
Spend less on home cleaning products.
At Priced Right, we believe you can live, play, and love better for less.
To start saving, visit us in the Airport Center in Georgetown or at Republic's Plaza in West Bay.
Or shop online at pricedright.ky. Live better for less at Priced Right.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. With government celebrating revenues topping $1 billion in 2022, Cayman statutory authorities and government companies reported an operating deficit of $21 million. Over the past 4 years, government's financial performance comparison shows that revenues, with the exception of 2020, have seen a steady increase, growing from just under $862 million in 2019 to more than $1 billion last year. Core government logged a surplus in 2019 of $143 million, a $58 million deficit in 2020, a $17 million deficit in 2021, and then $47 million in a surplus last year. Meanwhile, the SAGCs logged a deficit every year, $26 million for 2019, $65 million in 2020, $31 million in 2021, and then $21 million last year. Total operating expenses for 2022 for the entire public sector was $973 million. This was $52 million more than the initially projected budget. The Ministry of Finance says this was mainly due to overages with regards to health care expenses, health insurance for civil service pensioners, a variance in the cost of supplies and other items to combat COVID-19, and costs for the care of indigents, which exceeded the budget. In addition, the ex gratia tourism stipend was $16 million over budget, and the electrical assistance program cost $7.9 million, and that was not originally in the 2022 budget allocations. To cover these, Parliament approved supplementary funding of $16 million for the tourism stipend and a new expenditure for the electrical assistance program of $8.5 million. The Ministry of Finance says the overages were, quote, somewhat offset by underspending in other areas, which included $28 million less in personnel costs and $3.6 million less for supplies and consumables, excluding leases. And Cayman Finance announces the return of its Student Education and Work Experience program. More from Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego.
With a new name and a new sense of purpose, the student education program, LEAD, Learn, Educate, Apply, Develop, is a pathway for high-performing Caymanian students to learn about the Cayman Islands financial services industry and the types of careers available. LEAD begins on May 1st and will provide workshops, mentorship, and exposure to what it is really like to work in financial services through a 4-week paid work placement. The goal of the program is to help Caymanian students develop practical knowledge and skills that will benefit benefit them as they consider career options. More than 250 students have gone through the Cayman Finance program since it began in 2015. Registration is now open and students must apply for the program online at www.cflead.ky. They will need to provide proof of Caymanian status and health insurance coverage. The deadline for submission is April 24th, 2023. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News. The Washington Post says it has interviewed an individual who knows the man responsible for leaking classified documents in what's been described as one of the worst breaches of U.S. security. The source said the alleged leaker worked at a U.S. military base and had access to classified information, which he started sharing with friends. Norway is expelling 15 Russian diplomats whom it accuses of operating as spies. All of them worked at Russia's embassy in the Norwegian capital Oslo. The Norwegian authorities have warned of increased Russian espionage efforts in recent months. There are fears of a potential confrontation in Sudan between the army and a powerful paramilitary force headed by the country's deputy leader. Overnight, the army said General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo's rapid support forces were mobilizing troops in several cities. The European Space Agency's mission to Jupiter, due to take off today from French Guiana, has been postponed until Friday due to bad weather. The Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer will take 8 years to reach Jupiter. Taiwan is holding a civil defense drill to prepare the island against possible military attack. The first exercise is in the city of Taichung, followed by similar events across the island over the coming weeks. More protests are taking place in France today as part of a long-running dispute over reforms to the pension system. Strikes have also been called. And that's a summary from BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt at valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Whether it's routine care or highly complex surgery, when it comes to your health, you want the best. Health City has Cayman's most comprehensive range of in-house medical services. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to understand your health and ensure you get the care you need. From Camana Bay to East End, you can trust the team at Health City. Health City, world-class healthcare within your reach.
Enjoy a magical night of arts and culture at Red Sky at Night, multidisciplinary arts fair at the Hockwell Cultural Center, Saturday 15th April from 2 to 11 p.m. With 4 stages of live music, dance, poetry, and theater performances, over 100 artists and artisans, creative kids corner, delicious food, Caymanian village with traditional demonstrations and fireworks. There is so much to see and do at Red Sky at Night. Brought to you by the Cayman National Cultural Foundation. Early bird tickets are $15 and $25 at Funky Tanks locations, the CNCF office, or online at www.ticketsplus.ky. Gates open at 1:30 p.m. The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 80 degrees. Relative humidity is 82%. The barometric pressure is 29.91 inches and rising. The winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 75 degrees. Synopsis indicate light winds and smooth seas are expected for the next few days due to a weak pressure gradient across the Caribbean. Satellite images show a few clouds over the Cayman area moving towards the northwest. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of afternoon showers, and temperatures today will be in the mid-80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet. Tonight, mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures falling to the low 70s tonight. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be smooth with wave heights of less than 2 feet for tonight as well. Low tide will be this morning at 10 minutes past 11, high tide this afternoon at 4:19, and a low tide again tonight at 10:46. The sun will set this evening at 6:41 and will rise tomorrow morning at 9 minutes past 6. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Saturday morning.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Brit-K, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving our goals is rewarding, but at times can feel frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success. When setting goals, have a deadline for each step. Procrastination has a way of derailing effort. Setting a time to review progress helps to increase motivation because you know effort has contributed to small successes. Consider rewards if things are going well. If things are not going as well as you would like, a deadline gives you a chance to pause and reflect on the current goal to see if there may be something getting in the way of being able to get it done. Change your thinking and change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. Encourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look this time at traffic. Coming from the east, traffic is flowing pretty good on Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard. On the Linford Pearson Highway, moderate flow of traffic in both directions. A little steady traffic on Cool Road heading to Georgetown. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moving along pretty good. As we look to downtown Georgetown on Edward Street, moderate flow of traffic, as well as on Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue. And on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is flowing at a good pace in both directions. From the West Bay four-way stop, traffic is moderate. coming off of the Esteli Tibbetts Highway State traffic heading towards the Butterfield Roundabout and continuing on to North South Road. And in the Industrial Park area, traffic is flowing at a good pace. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again. At about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock, we'll give you another traffic report.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce. All piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today. Doing a kitchen renovation? At Granite Express Cayman, we can help you with fresh new kitchen cabinets and countertops in less than 4 weeks. When designing your dream kitchen, it's important to balance timeless features that reflect your personality and design aesthetic. Granite Express Cayman is offering a great package rate for custom-built cabinets, kitchen respray, and kitchen countertops with granite and quartz stone. Call 922-0424 for a free estimate. Granite Express Cayman, friendly service and fast installation. Hurry, offers valid while supplies last. Visit graniteexpresscayman.com.
Whether you're fishing, beaching, gardening, or questioning whether to wash your car, Radio Cayman keeps you enlightened with the latest weather developments. Radio Cayman's weekend weather, morning, day, and night, every Saturday and Sunday. Radio Cayman's weekend weather updates are brought to you by Popeyes. Cayman doesn't just like chicken, they love that chicken from Popeyes. Rain or shine, make it Popeyes.
Business Buzz. Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. My name is Orrett Connor and I'm filling in for Miss Anita Khan. So folks, we continue with our regular segment with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, which is conducted every second Thursday of the month. In this segment, we'll learn more about acquisitive crime, not inquisitive, acquisitive crime, the impact that it can have on our communities, how it is investigated, and what is being done about acquisitive crime. I see I'm trapping myself now with the inquisitive. I should never have said that. It is my pleasure to have as guest in the studio with us Detective Sergeant Andrew Graham of the CID, and no stranger to Radio Cayman, no stranger to the public as well, Ms. Jody Ann Powery, who's the Police Media Officer of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Media and Communications Unit. Folks, welcome to the good morning and welcome to the Business Buzz.
Well, thanks for having us, OC.
Thank you for having us.
Let's jump in and get into it.
Yes, let's get right into it. So first, that tongue-twisting word, acquisitive crime. Let's tell our listening and viewing audience what that means, what it is all about.
Right. So acquisitive crime is just basically any crime where the perpetrator in the matter stands to gain some kind of material gain from committing the crime. So basically they're theft-related crimes, like burglaries, robberies, and so on.
Well, acquisitive comes from acquire, right?
Acquire,
so they're
right,
acquiring
yes.
something, but they're acquiring it through crime.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You can continue.
So what we've been seeing then is that over the last few months, there's been kind of an increase in some acquisitive crimes. For instance, for this year so far, in January and February, there were 6 burglary incidents reported to the police. However, in March, there were 16, which brings our numbers up to 31 for the year.
And this is a trend we see all the time, especially before Christmas. You see the burglaries start to come up. and sometimes a little bit over the Christmas period. Then after the Christmas period, you see it start to die down. But you always know in the back of your mind that it's going to start to pick up, and this is a trend. I think it's almost identical to last year.
Yeah, probably.
Or close to it.
Yeah, and what we've also noticed is that, these things are sometimes like really synonymous with the holiday periods. Yes. Yeah, so as he said, Christmas time, Easter is just passed. So leading up to Easter, there was an increase in the burglaries. Summer times, there's usually a spike during that time as well. So we just want to talk a little bit about, some of the things that we've been seeing and some of the things that as a community we can all do to protect ourselves and also be prepared in the event that this happens to you. Because we can't have a smoke screen to think that it can't happen to us. It can happen to anyone.
Okay.
So
Now, on my regular show, For the Record, I shared with my audience the release that you put out for the Easter, and that I said, well, depending on whether or not the criminals are lazy or smart, or whether or not they get up early in the morning to listen to the radio, they're hearing the same tips that are being shared with the public in terms of what you should be aware of.
Absolutely.
So it tells you that you have to always try to be one step ahead of the criminal. But your department, you put out some very helpful tips, especially for those persons who are camping, especially for Christmas time, in terms of what you put out in your garbage. When you put out you buy the new electronics and everything, and you put boxes out. So how do you go about trying to stay one step ahead of the criminal?
Well, I think it's about, and you mentioned a point that it's not just the law-abiding citizens that are listening to what we're saying. It's the ones that are opportunistic and they're looking for opportunities. It's about being vigilant. If you're a property owner, a homeowner, you own a vehicle, you own any kind of property, that somebody out there is going to want to take that from you. You have to be vigilant. You have to keep your eyes open, and you've got to mark your property. You got to note your serial numbers down. You've got to, if you don't have a serial number, use a marker and put it in a unique place, or note down, marks or scratches on things. Take pictures of your property. If you have a house, you have to protect that house. It's about lighting. It's about motion sensors. If you can get cameras, get cameras. Make sure that your front door is visible from the street. Make your house unappealing for somebody to want to come and take something from you, because they'll just move on to the next house if it's easier. Okay.
Can we talk a little bit about the root causes of these, acquisitive crimes and the impact that it can have? I saw on one social media platform a few days ago a lady, a homeowner, who had lost something like about $20,000 worth of jewelry. No forced entry, but unfortunately it appears as if the person had workmen in the residence and felt so comfortable with them, had been, giving them snacks, feeding them and everything, and it may have let down her guard, and as a result of that, suffered an immense loss.
Yeah, root causes of any kind of crime, Mr. O.C., is so vast and complicated. It derives from social issues, from family issues, and, once I once had a professor who told me that, once a person goes into the system once, you can probably most likely look for them again. So it's repetition, and it's just basically what somebody knows. It's so many different things, and crime is such a wide issue that it takes the whole community when it comes to tackling crime. It's not just the police issue, it's everybody's issue.
It's also about parents educating their children how to be proper human beings.
Yes.
That's the root right there.
Now, you spoke about the some of the statistics. Cayman is still seen to be a relatively crime-free jurisdiction, or very, very low. But do
Very
we have
safe jurisdiction.
Yes,
It's very
yes.
safe. I don't think that there's any jurisdiction in the world that's crime-free.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Relatively low crime.
Right.
Now, as a result of that, do we have sometimes a tendency to let our guard down? Again, you put out alerts about people not leaving things visible in their automobiles. Even some people
see it all
leaving
the
their
time.
automobiles open.
Right.
We see it all the time.
I think that we, coming from where we've been coming from in the past, where we've been able to leave our front doors open and not have, anything happen. Change has been happening and change has been inevitable. And I think that some of us have a hard time adjusting to the change. And it's just for our job is to make sure that people know that things are happening. You have to take these particular precautions, making that information available to everyone so that they know the steps that they need to take, because it's not something that you're used to in Cayman, but it is now unfortunately prevalent, and we have to take those steps now. We have to lock our doors and our cars. We have to make sure that things aren't being seen in our cars that are enticing. There was once a report last year, I think early last year, where a lady went to the beach, and when she went to the beach, she took off all her jewelry. One of those things happened to be an heirloom ring. An heirloom is priceless. You cannot replace it. It's handed down generations from generations.
One of a kind.
And it was stolen. When she got home, she forgot to take it out of the car, and it was stolen because she left her car door open. These are things that are so impactful, because that is something that she'll never be able to replace. A lot of things can be replaced, but that's not one of them. So we have to take these things into consideration now.
So let's talk a little bit about reporting. If, unfortunately, you become the victim, of an acquisitive crime, how do you go about reporting it? And if you could also talk a little bit, what I'll do is I'll just introduce this. We'll take a commercial break, and then we can resume the conversation after the commercial break. We also see the community groups that have been formed, and your community policing department. I must say that where they are active, they have done an excellent job. They have made
For sure.
The residents more aware of the things that need to be done. They share information. You see, persons may have a video of someone who may have rung their doorbell to ask a question, and they knew that they were probably just casing the house to see if someone is there.
That's education.
And they will share that information with all of their neighbors, give a description and everything. Can we talk a little bit about that, how you go about reporting, but what you can do also to make yourself and your neighbors aware of potential criminals? Folks?
What you just said is being vigilant.
Yes. So, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, Business Buzz and the conversation with Detective Sergeant Mr. Andrew Graham of the CID. That's the Criminal Investigative Division, is that? And Miss Jody Ann Power, who's the Police Media Officer from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service Media and Communications Unit. That conversation will continue after this short commercial break.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Can you tell me, what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates! Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shout-out live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shout-outs live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by life insurance agents Michael Webster and Randy Lawson from Cayman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future.
Are you seeking a bargain on furniture and household goods? Well, stop by the garage sale at 137 Couture Street off Walker's Road, 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. this Friday and Saturday. From living room furniture, clothing, house and kitchenware, 5-yard landfill going cheap, and a 2022 Honda HDR LX. Everything must go. This weekend, garage sale at 137 Couture Street off Walker's Road. If you need additional information, you can call 925-2705.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. My name is Orrett Connor and I'm filling in for Miss Anita Khan. We are on our regular segment with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. This conversation takes place every second Thursday of the month. And this segment we're talking about acquisitive crime. That conversation is taking place with Detective Sergeant Andrew Graham and with Miss Jodianne Powery. So we talk a little bit about the benefits of the community policing, the benefits of neighbors sharing information, especially when they see suspicious vehicles or suspicious persons knocking on their doors as well.
Well, that's why it's important to get to know your neighbors and start talking about what you see. Sharing information is vital, because that just means more eyes. And if you all have a common goal in protecting your property, protecting your homes, you're going to be more effective and more vigilant against and preventing from this type of thing happening. Or if something suspicious is happening, your neighbors are going to call the police. If you're going to go away, let your neighbors know. Because if they see something, they'll be calling the police.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll be calling the police.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, we were talking a little bit about community policing groups, our neighborhood watch groups with our community police officers in them. That is an extremely tested theory. I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago, Bordentown was hit pretty badly with burglaries.
Yes.
And our community police officers, they went into the communities. They kickstarted a few community policing neighborhood watch programs, and those programs completely, eradicated burglary. Well, not completely, but it was definitely a significant reduction in burglaries in Bordentown. And since then, our community police officers have been, they're very accessible. And, if you feel like you want a community police, a neighborhood watch program, and you need some help kickstarting it, definitely go onto our website and look who is the community officer for your area from our website. And, just get in contact. Their cell phone numbers are on there. just send them a message, give them a call, or if you'd like to email them, you can do that straight from their website. And they'll definitely be amenable to assisting with that.
Okay. I know you want to talk about the theft of construction tools as well,
Yes.
but also we've seen in the past construction material also being stolen.
From construction
Yes,
sites.
from
Yes.
construction sites as well.
Mhm.
And my thought process would normally say, well, it has to be someone who's familiar with the site itself to know that there are certain items there that they can target.
Possibly in some cases, but
as well
a lot of
in
these
some-
construction sites, you're driving down the road and you can see it.
Yes,
from the
yes,
street, and
uh-huh.
I'll just come back, at 3:00 in the morning, and they'll just go in there and they'll take whatever they can get.
Mhm.
But then, sometimes they do know what's inside as well.
Okay, you want to talk a little bit about the tools then?
Yeah, sure. A lot of these tools are being stolen from vehicles, vans, like you said, construction sites. Again, it's about not creating the opportunity for people to see these items. Like if you're put the construction equipment away or lock it in secure areas within a construction site, proper lighting, possibly cameras. I mean, cameras nowadays are so cheap, and they record information.
Mhm.
And why everyone don't have cameras to protect their property, I don't know.
And you can monitor it remotely as well.
Exactly.
Yes,
I mean, the
yeah.
technology we have nowadays for keeping eyes all over the place is infinite. So that's important. As far as construction tools stolen out of vehicles, just try to make sure that the things in your vehicle are not visible as best you can. If you have the opportunity to take some of your tools inside and lock it in your house, that's best, but I know that that's not always feasible when you got thousands of tools and you're driving around in a van all day. That's not very feasible. Keep your van in a lit area. You can, again, use CCTV in regards to your own vehicle. Just make it unattractive to people.
And in most instances, the thefts that are taking place, the thieves are not necessarily stealing the stuff for their own use,
No.
but to acquire other things as a result of that. How do you combat that?
Right. So I guess the first thing to highlight is that handling stolen goods is a crime. And if you see something being sold at $50 and you know that it's worth well over $200, it means that that deal is too good to be true. And that being said, you then knowingly purchasing that means that you've committed a crime. The crime of handling stolen goods. What we'd like to say is, if this is something that you see happening, don't engage in that type of activity, and we would really appreciate it if you would call us and let us know if something like that, if you've been approached in that way to purchase something that you know that is stolen. Rather than find yourself in the situation where you're being arrested for handling stolen goods. And usually when persons are arrested for handling stolen goods, they're also arrested for the theft-related crime, because how do we know that you didn't do it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we work closely with anybody that are in the business of buying and selling property and stuff like that. So we're always communicating with them, trying to educate them. They're trying to educate us. We're now, well, not now. We've always worked with customs, but we're always constantly trying to improve that relationship, especially when it comes to property that's containered and sent off the island. So, we're all trying to keep an eye on that. And again, that goes back to some of my other points. Is it's very important that the public understand that when their property is taken and they call us, we initiate an investigation. But for us to be able to identify someone's property, if we do a search warrant, we identify a suspect, we do a search warrant, we find property that's similar to the property that victim has lost, tools, jewelry, TVs, whatever it is, we have to have the ability to be able to be certain that that is your property. A jackhammer looks like a jackhammer. But if it's got different serial numbers, that's going to help us, because you may not get your property back if we can't prove it. And then somebody is not going to go to jail because we can't prove it. Note your property. Note the serial numbers, or mark your property some way. Take pictures. Just give us as much information as you can about your property. Be prepared.
Now, I've seen in the past where you have actually cataloged things and published it out there and said, if you can identify this, if you believe that this is yours, come in. Can you speak a little bit to that?
And that in itself is also an identification issue, because if you don't, for instance, scan your receipts for your valuable properties and save them to the cloud or in your email or whatever the case may be, then how will you be able to come and point out that this is my property without having some kind of proof that it is yours? So one of the things that you can do as well is that when you go to purchase these things, scan your receipt. That receipt most likely will have the item, the model number, the serial number, all that kind of stuff, as well as how much you paid for it. And all you have to do is present that to us, and that's your property.
Okay.
But if you don't have any of these things, again,
otherwise, you have people coming in there and thinking it's a free shopping trip for them.
Yes.
That's my laptop. That's my watch.
Yeah. Now, what about, we see more sophistication these days where people will attempt to sell it online as well. Do you monitor? Well, I'm sure that you don't want to give away all your trade secrets as well.
Well, I mean, those are pretty obvious things anyways.
Monitoring to see things that may be up for sale. And again, if you have been provided, the victim has provided you with photographs, then you have something to go by. You have something that you can match that with if you see it online as well. But you're the experts. Tell us about it.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
When it comes to online things, it's that too good to be true thing. You'll find that if you see a MacBook being sold online for $250, it is absolutely too good to be true. And so you probably should either flag or report the property to the website, or we would really appreciate the information as well if you let us know. Well,
can we give out the contact details in relation to how
sure,
people can inform?
as we were saying, a lot of things are electronic now. Our website has the ability for you to send us tips. So you just log on to our website and you can send tips to us. Any little detail that you have could be fundamental in an investigation. So it doesn't matter how small the information may be.
And it can be anonymous as well?
Absolutely can be anonymous, or you can choose to leave your information if you'd like feedback or an update. You can also send us media files. So if you taken pictures, videos, if you have a voice note, any of that kind of stuff, you can send it through our website as well. So you just submit a tip on our website.
Somebody's selling stolen property online, and we're aware of it. We like it when these criminals give us those little gold nuggets, trust me, because we do look into that. So.
Now, the criminals are usually looking for soft targets, as well. And I'd like you to re-emphasize the importance of, people being vigilant, people marking their property, as well as securing their properties like their homes, their businesses, how important it is to do that, how important it is to have recording devices, around there, and even in some instances to have them in not necessarily in the obvious spots, but because we know the criminals will either try to put a mask on or they will rip the connection out as well. We want to give her listeners some tips in relation to that. So we'll take the commercial break. When we return, we will cover that. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. The Business Buzz with representatives from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service will continue after this short commercial break.
Every boy, every girl, every mom, every dad, every student, every teacher, every scholarship provider. The annual Rotary Central Bill Rudy Science Fair is back. Saturday, April 22nd at the Ark Recreation Center, Camana Bay. A universe of science, invention, innovation, experimentation, botany, medicine, robotics, engineering. So much imagination, so much science. Your children, our children. The next Nikola Tesla, the next Albert Einstein, the next Stephen Jobs, budding climate scientists, maritime scientists, engineers, biomedical engineers. Hear them talk, see them show you how. The 16th Annual Rotary Central Science Fair, Saturday, April 22nd at the Ark Recreation Center, Camana Bay. This event is free to the public. Rotary, all that you can imagine.
The Ministry of Education invites eligible Caymanians to apply for an Education Council Local Scholarship for the 2023-2024 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Sunday, April 30th, 2023. Brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. My name is Orrett Connor and I'm filling in for Miss Anita Khan. This morning we're talking about acquisitive crime in the Cayman Islands. That conversation is taking place with Miss Jodianne Powery, who is the media officer for the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. Also with us, Mr. Andrew Graham, who is the detective sergeant with the CID department in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as well. So, folks, back over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we were talking about what persons should do when they make a report.
Yes.
Well, first of all, if you, for instance, return home and you've noticed that, you know, something just doesn't look right from the time you got to your front door, my suggestion would be to call 911 right away before even going inside or touching anything.
Yes.
And the reason for that is you don't know if a perpetrator is still inside.
Yes.
So you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. So as soon as you do recognize that there is some kind of disturbance, do call 911 right away, and an officer will come out to you as soon as possible. Where getting information for your current investigation is concerned, we do now have a victim care unit, and the number there is 649-2969, and you can give them a call. When you report any type of crime, you should be given a report number. So you give that report number to the victim care officer, but don't worry about it if you don't have it. They'll just ask you for some details, and then they'll be able to assist you either way.
And this is a dedicated unit now, the victim care unit?
It is a dedicated unit to providing victim care updates to persons who have been victims of crime.
And also, as investigators, we also have a responsibility with keeping the victim updated, about any progress in the investigation or lack thereof. So,
and after a report has been made, if the victim is able to acquire any additional information, someone may have contacted them and say, well, I believe I saw your possessions, with someone or someplace. They can follow up with that additional information as well?
Absolutely. I mean, you're tracking that property, and the police have a responsibility to follow up with that information, because what we want to do is we want the person to get their property back, and we want whoever took that property to be put in front of the justice system.
Any advice for electronics like laptops and
Bluetooth,
things like that,
Bluetooth.
in terms of where you can actually put an app on your device that it can be tracked later on?
Yeah, it's your location. Yeah, so make sure that your location is on your device, and make sure that whenever you buy a $1,500 cell phone, that you set up your My Location app so that you can locate that property in the event that you lose it. Yeah. And it's not just for the cell phones, it goes for tablets. I think you can do it for laptops. You have, the detective was talking about Bluetooth devices, your AirPods and that kind of stuff. Make sure that the locations are on all these things. It does drain your batteries a little bit, but it's better for your batteries to be drained and you having to charge it than for you to lose it and not be able to find it.
It was about a week and a half ago, our detectives chased a suspect around because of what we call it, earpods, iPods, whatever.
Yeah, AirPods.
AirPods, yes. And we chased this person all over the place, and we finally caught them and arrested them for handling stolen property and burglary. And it was just because of the device pinging, tracking them.
Okay. Have any advice that you can give to our audience in terms of some of the common items that you've seen an inclination towards people stealing, or when they burglarize a house, they just basically go for anything that they believe may be of value? I remember when our residence was broken into, they actually took an empty suitcase that was there and was basically, putting whatever they could inside of it. Is there a trend in terms of, the attractive items that they're looking for?
Absolutely. A lot of the times it's things that people can put in pockets or bags, backpacks, smaller items, but a lot of the times the smaller items are expensive, like jewelry and electronics and that type of thing. If someone takes a TV or someone's barbecue or a giant table saw, they need a vehicle to load that into. And if they're using a vehicle, they're more susceptible to being seen or caught or being able to be tracked from the scene because of government CCTV or private CCTV, that type of thing. So, and it takes them a lot longer to remove a TV off a wall or to remove a heavy item. So they're looking for the smaller items. Again, keep those things inside your house, not visible. Hide them away. There's no reason why someone needs to keep their laptop, visible from all the windows in the house.
What advice would you give to a person who actually is confronted or confronts a burglar? For instance, they driving home, they drive into the yard, they open the door and they find a burglar inside.
If you can run,
what advice?
Run.
Yeah.
You need to create
don't
space
confront.
and move away and get to a safe place. Go to a neighbor's place, call 911 right away, or your cell phone, call 911. Get away from the scene.
Do you find also that they work in pairs or maybe in threes, so that someone is a lookout, someone is a driver, someone is the person who's inside the
it depends on
location?
who it is, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
But the main priority is the preservation of life. Property can be replaced. So just make sure that you don't confront anybody, and if you are a victim of a robbery, hand that property over and be as compliant as possible. Yeah.
Okay. We still have about 7 minutes left. I know that there are probably things that we didn't touch on that you may want to elaborate on it as well. You may want to tell us, about the Easter holiday period and whether or not you may have seen any trends there. I sort of noticed in some areas there were not as many people camping this year, at least on the northern end of the island.
I noticed that
many,
as well.
Yeah.
There is definitely a reduction in campers, which is kind of bittersweet, because that means that more people are at home, less opportunities for burglars to operate.
Yes.
Which is seen because so far this month there's only been, I think, 3 burglaries reported compared to the 16 from last month. But it's definitely seems as if the tradition is dying down a little bit. Yeah.
And do burglars have certain traits that when you go to a crime scene and you see certain things, or you see that certain items are missing, while you wouldn't want to prejudge anyone, but at the same time you want to rule out certain suspects and you want to rule in certain suspects so that you can focus. Do they have certain traits?
That is known as the modus operandi, which is their mode of operation.
Yeah.
And over the years, I guess, after investigating a particular group of people or a certain person over the years, you'll come to find that some people have certain habits that they leave behind at crime scenes sometimes. But like you said, we don't prejudge and we carry out our investigations without any, prejudice to make sure that we arrive at the correct conclusions.
Well, there's two main reasons why people commit these types of crimes. Number one is opportunity. They see it, and they know they're going to get something from it, money or whatever else, valuables. And then there's a need or desperation for people that break into places because they need food or they need things to sell because they don't have any money or any income. And it goes back to what we were talking about before. And don't make yourself look like a victim. Don't create opportunity. Don't allow them to have opportunity. Again, you got to secure your house properly. Make sure simple things like making sure that a door, when it's locked, it's actually locked. Before you leave, grab the doorknob and try to push the door open. It's locked, then you can leave. Make sure your windows are locked. You know those little things at the top of the windows? They need to be in a locked position.
Yes.
You need to make sure that window is fully down, locked, give it a yank up, make sure it's locked. All your windows, all your doors.
Even the second story, guys.
Yeah.
Even the second story guys. These people will climb, or some of them will climb.
Yeah. And again, it's some environmental things that you can consider as well. So if you have a 2-story house and you have a tree that's next to your house, you might want to make sure that the branches don't connect to your house, because there has been instances where persons have climbed trees to get to the second story, especially where there's a balcony, because usually those doors aren't as secure as a front door. So you want to make sure that the design of your property is also one where it doesn't ask for crime to be committed.
What about predictability in terms of setting patterns, especially when you leave your house and when you return, so that a person can say, well, I know they leave at 7:45 and they're back at 4 o'clock. And if you have opportunities where you can just show up at your home randomly.
Unfortunately, sometimes that's not something that people can control.
Yeah.
Especially when you go to work at a certain time and you have to be home at a certain time. But the way that you can mitigate that is like what Detective Graham said earlier, is put a security alarm on your property. It's one that's interactive, where if something happens at your property, you get alerted right away and you can call 911 right away. And just making sure that you have that neighborhood watch program set up in your community so that you're all looking out for each other.
That's extremely important.
Extremely important.
Yeah. So, folks, we have been talking with Detective Sergeant Andrew Graham and Miss Jody Ann Powery, who's the police media officer. Before you leave us, give our listening and viewing audience details in terms of they're the victim of a crime. What do they do? How they can go about contacting you, or if they have information about a crime that has taken place as well.
So if you find that you've been victim of a crime, to make a report, dial 911 to report, or you can call one of our local police stations. The best one to call is probably Georgetown Police Station, and they'll patch you through to the district. And Georgetown Police Station number is 949-4222. Again, if you need updates, if you haven't heard from your investigator for one reason or the other, or you haven't been able to contact them, you can call the Victim Care Unit at 649-2969, and they'll be able to either connect you with your investigator or give you an update themselves. In terms of information, we really appreciate if you could put those through our website, submit a tip on our website, or if you have our mobile app, it's very handy. Please download it, and you can do it through there as well. And our mobile app also gives you the opportunity to see our press releases, some of which you spoke about earlier. It goes to the mobile app first, so you get the information firsthand.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Okay, I want to thank you all for being here, and thank the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service for all of the efforts that they do to help to keep the Cayman Islands and the people of the Cayman Islands safe as well. Folks, that concludes the Business Buzz this morning. Please stay tuned now for our headline news at 9 o'clock.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
TripAdvisor has named 7 Mile Beach as number 4 on its Traveler's Choice 2023 top 25 beaches in the Caribbean. It comes in after Eagle Beach in Aruba, Grace Beach in Providenciales, and Varadero Beach in Cuba. The U.S. believes the UN Secretary General is too willing to accommodate Russian interests, according to fresh revelations and classified documents leaked online. The file suggests Washington has been closely monitoring Antonio Gutierrez. Several documents describe private communications involving him and his deputy. It's the latest from a leak of secret documents which U.S. officials are scrambling to get to the bottom of. And a U.S. appeals court has temporarily blocked a decision by a Texas judge to halt the government's approval of a widely used abortion drug. Mifepristone, one of 2 drugs used for medication abortions, was approved by the Food and Drug Administration and has been allowed for over 20 years. Abortion pills are now the most common method of ending a pregnancy, used in more than half of all U.S. abortions. This ruling means access to it will be maintained, but with some restrictions. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.